Alright, for this problem we want to write a formula for the general term or the nth term of the arithmetic sequence. Then we're going to use the formula for a sub n to find a sub 30, which is the 30th term of the sequence. The sequence is given as 2, 6, 10, 14. The first thing that we want to do when we look at this particular sequence is we know that this goes on. And so we're going to look to find the common difference between the terms. So we'll just go ahead and say, look, d, which is the common difference, is going to be equal to the difference of any two given terms in the sequence, sum a sub 2 minus a sub 1. Well, basically, we're just going to say that the common difference is going to be 6 minus 2, which is equal to 4. And you may want to verify that you do, in fact, have an arithmetic sequence, which means that the first term you're going to take and add some number to it to get the second term, which you're then going to add that same number to the second term to get the third term. Well, since the common difference is 4 in this case, that's what we're going to use to find our formula. Alright, now that we know what the common difference is between any two consecutive terms, and that is the key, they have to be consecutive terms. And just in case you're having problems coping with the subscripts, anytime you have subscripts, the subscripts simply mean to differentiate between two different terms. Okay, now that we know, or we're aware of what subscripts mean, we're going to move on to the second step in this particular problem, which is to go ahead and use this formula. Now, since we're dealing with an arithmetic sequence, that means that some sort of arithmetic is in order to go from one term to the next term. And you'll notice, once again, we have subscripts here. We have a sub n and a sub 1. This is going to be the first term in the sequence, as indicated by this little statement right here. A sub 1 is the first term in the sequence. Okay, and this could be, and this changes depending upon the sequence. A sub n, this whole thing right here, means that we're going to be looking at the nth term. And in fact, I can pick whatever number that is. Let's say that n is equal to 72. I'm looking at the 72nd term. For this particular problem, and I'm going to scroll up so that we can look at it, we're looking at a sub 30, which, as is indicated right here, is the 30th term of the sequence. And remember that n, as I said, is the number in the sequence that we're looking for. Okay, we're not going to replace this number right here while we calculate the formula. This will stay as n when calculating formula. All right, actually, let's not use the word calculating. Let's go ahead and use the word deriving. Okay. And each arithmetic sequence is going to have a unique formula. So let's start with this. A sub n is going to be equal to a sub 1. Now, if we scroll back up and we look at this, this right here is my first term. So we're going to use a sub 1 is equal to 2. So I'm going to put 2 right here. Plus, and then I'm going to multiply this factor n minus 1 times d. But remember what d was. We went ahead and calculated that to be 4, so we're going to put that right here. Now what I'm going to need to do is simplify this particular formula. I want to go ahead and use the distributive property and multiply this 4 by both terms in this particular factor. So now I'm looking at a sub n is equal to 2 plus 4n minus 4. And that means that I can go ahead and further simplify and end up with negative 2 plus 4n. Or I could use 4n minus 2. Either one of those is going to be acceptable. So now remember that we are looking to find the 30th term. That means that if a sub n is equal to either one of these formulas, a sub 30 is going to be equal to 4 times 30. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little color coding. So I'm looking at 4 times 30 minus 2, which gives me 120, take away 2, which is equal to 118. So a sub 30 in this case, that means the 30th term is 118. So let's go ahead and actually punch these numbers into MyMathLab just to make sure that we've got the correct terminology and the correct answers. So remember what we were saying. We are, and this may not show up beautifully in the video, but right here we're going to type in our formula, which is 4n minus 2. We're going to press enter to check. Tells me that I did a good job. Press enter again, and now it wants me to simplify my answer, and the answer was 118, and I have finished the problem.